Warning, the following is entirely satirical and should not be taken as truth or fact. Styles Rebel Radio and the Rebel Podcast do not own any copyrighted material that may be included in this broadcast. Viewer discretion is advised.
Basically, what we're saying here is we're going to take down Russia.
Suspend the show right now.
You're gonna zipline directly into the harpoon?
Yeah.
What do you know about planes?
I know a lot about planes.
Buckle in, dude. It's gonna suck.
Put your hand on the screen.
How did they find out? Who was the one?
This show has gotten infinitely more gay.
The mystical land of New Jersey.
I don't understand how the laws in this country work anymore.
Welcome to the Rebel Radio Show, live, uncut, and uncensored on WSRR Radio, saving the underground music scene. To my right, Shaney.
Hey, everyone.
On the board is Jules.
Howdy.
I'm Radio's Rebel DJ Style, and I ran out of the room with 40 seconds left before we started to make sure I turned down our headphones because they were super loud when we did a mic check, and I definitely already did that because they're super low now.
That's all right. I ran out with 30 seconds, and I shit my pants, and I still have the shit in my pants. And so I didn't know that I did not have time to come back, so now there's just poop and sitting in my pants right now, guys.
That's okay. I ran out of time on our 30 seconds to Mars tickets, so we're not going.
10 seconds to launch.
The pizza dude has 30 seconds.
Ooh, Fantastic Four? All right, sorry.
216-859-8699 if you want to chime into the conversation or have some other numerical value to add to that conversation. Once again, that's 216-859-8699 to text into the show live today or with any of our broadcasts. We're brought to you by Synergy Music Studio out of Chicago. If you need recording, mixing, mastering, producing, or more, head to synergymusicstudio.com. They're proud supporters of the local independent music scene and of WSRR Radio. And I'm proud supporters of the CIA actually revealing documents that aren't redacted.
CIA.
Well, I'm not a supporter of the CIA.
CIA.
First of all, I'm not a supporter of the CIA. Let me make that clear.
I think anyone ever in any stadium, any group of people have ever come together and chanted CIA.
No.
Maybe the CIA had a
The CIA
work
team,
cookout.
a work outing.
The CIA workouting.
Yeah.
They're all surrounded by the big monitors in the room. CIA
CIA.
Appreciation Day or something.
Maybe
They're at like a Dave and Buster's.
it's like a
CIA.
brand against brand football
CIA and
Oh my
game.
FBI.
Yeah,
gosh.
it's like CIA, FBI.
People have definitely chanted FBI in a stadium.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Full blood Italians, baby. ECW.
Oh okay.
They definitely got FBI
All right.
chants going.
All right.
CIA? I don't know. Maybe after this one, though. So a report came out about a week ago from the CIA, a declassified report from quite a while ago. Do we have the year on it at the top of it by chance?
It doesn't. Maybe it's at the bottom. It doesn't seem to say.
Quite a while ago, though,
Yeah.
because they're talking about the Soviet Union. So during Soviet times, there's a CIA report that came out that claimed Soviet soldiers encountered aliens in UFOs, and they turned soldiers into stones with super high-tech weaponry.
They got stone soldiers now.
Really
They got
quickly.
stoned.
Really quickly.
Yeah.
At the bottom of this document, it has a stamp that says
May 2000. Does it look
it
like May
says-
2000?
May 2005 was the
Oh.
approved release date for this.
Hell yeah. Love that.
But now it's released
Listen,
2025.
Listen, we talked about them release. We're going to watch the stream. Watch the stream after I say this.
So
We
it's-
talked about them having to release the JFK files like 12 years ago, and they didn't, and they just did like 2 weeks ago, and they're still redacted. So
It says in the actual file itself that this takes place in 1991.
1991.
Yeah.
When did the Soviet Union fall?
I don't keep up with the KGB, man. That's
Not
my-
anymore.
That's not my jive.
It's not my jive.
Yeah.
All right, so I don't know, man. 1991.
At least they.
Following the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, the CIA acquired 250-page KGB report. So this is when we got this report was in 1991.
Oh.
Then it was reviewed and ready for release in 2005, and it didn't get released until 2025, 20 years later.
Process of information, baby.
There we go. But the report includes an account of the aftermath with pictures, which one American agent described as a horrifying picture of revenge on the part of extraterrestrial creatures, a picture that makes one's blood freeze.
Oh.
Now, I don't know if this is the picture they're talking about. I don't think it is. I don't think the picture
Yeah.
has been released
Yeah.
that's in this report, because the one I'm looking at is just a very grainy black and white photo of an object in the sky.
Yeah. it
certainly
looks
not
like,
aliens.
It looks like something that you'd see on the monitor of like a fighter jet or
Yes,
something like
yes.
that, you know.
It looks like every other like declassified CIA UFO photo.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let me talk you through this encounter a little bit here. I want to read from this article here in New York Post that breaks down this CIA report, which we have the CIA report pulled up on the screen as well. You can
Right.
look it up. It's the first thing that comes up if you look this up, actually, from the actual CIA database. During this encounter, one of the Soviets fired a surface-to-air missile in which struck the UFO and sent it crashing to the ground. It fell to Earth not far away, and 5 short humanoids with large heads and large black eyes emerged from it, the report claims. After escaping the debris of their ruined ship, the beings held together and merged into a single object and acquired a spherical shape. In a few seconds, the spheres grew much bigger and exploded by flaring up with extremely bright light. At that very instant, 23 soldiers who had watched the phenomenon turned into stone poles. End quote. Another quote goes on to say, only 2 soldiers who stood in the shade were less exposed to luminous explosions survived it. The KGB allegedly took custody of the petrified soldiers and the ruined spacecraft, which were teleported to a secret base near Moscow.
They were teleported. They teleported them.
So, aliens got their ships taken down by the Soviets,
By
and
a
then
missile.
morphed by a missile, and then morphed into one ominous blob creature that exploded and turned 23 soldiers into stone poles.
Listen, I'm ready for my alien encounter. I've never had an encounter with aliens. And I think that
You're the only one here that hasn't.
I think I've mentally prepped myself for whatever may come. And I think we just got to get it over with. Band-Aid style.
Yes.
That's what they called you
Yeah.
back when you were a Band-Aid.
Back when I was a medic for the
Band-Aid.
KGB.
Band-Aid style. Yeah, I'm ready for my alien visit because I say this because all alien abductions seem or like alien encounters seem vastly different.
Yeah.
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 Like
Every
those
single one.
tall aliens that just stood in people's backyards in Texas and then went away.
Las Vegas?
Was it Las Vegas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right at the week that the submersible happened and the
Yeah.
train
They said
derailment
they had
happened and the
body
smoke happened.
footage of
Yeah.
the-
Yeah.
There was. We talked about it. And there wasn't like, here's my problem with that. And especially that week in general. I think that entire week was a giant cover up. But especially with that, there was body cam footage, but none of it was of the aliens.
Yeah,
it was of
just
people freaking out and the
the
cops
cops
talking
saying
about it.
that-
And
One of their cops saw it and
right.
all that.
Which is, again, is another interesting point of like, why is it so hard? Why is it so hard to get this on footage if people are seeing these things?
I don't even know, man. Are aliens even real at this point, guys?
I think it's totally possible.
Are aliens still real? Or are they
It's
fake
still
now?
real to me, damn it.
Or are they fake now? Did
Aliens
someone
are
make them
scripted.
fake again?
Aliens are scripted, dude.
That's what I'm saying.
The government's making up aliens now.
And this is such a 50-50 story, man. Like, on one hand, I'm like, okay, yeah, the government, they released fucking, 1,000 pages of UFO
Yeah.
stuff during COVID.
Yeah, and it was all stuff everybody already knew.
Yeah, we were on it and nobody talked about it
Mm-mm.
because everything else was going, the world was shutting down.
Yeah.
So like, even when we tried to dive into it on the show, we only like looked at 5 pages of it. We're like, oh, this is just stuff that is base level. I saw a silver ship.
Yeah.
I wonder if you comb through page by page, is there something hidden within like everything? Did they just like
I think
release a bunch of crap and hide the good stuff in between?
I think that there probably is still like a lot of meat and potatoes under black redacted
Yeah.
lines.
Oh, for
you
sure.
know? I think that like a lot of the real stuff that the people want to hear and see is still very much classified, and like the releasing of the JFK files and the alien files and stuff is just to have people, you know, have something to talk about, a little bit of meat on the bone for a little bit. And
Yeah.
Thank you.
But they
you know.
just they don't end up releasing stuff that we want.
Right. I think that it's always just going to be like little tidbits of this file was released saying that
Well,
this happened in the 50s.
And then exactly like the JFK files, they say, "Hey, we'll give you guys these at this time."
Did we talk about the JFK files on air after they were released at all?
I think we might have. I don't remember.
I talked about them on the radio. I don't know if I talked about them here. I just want to say this real quick while it's on the topic. Anyone who looked at these 80,000 pages that were released of the JFK files and were disappointed because it didn't flat out come out and say, yeah, the CIA killed JFK. No
It
shit.
wouldn't have said that.
We won. The person who wins the war writes the history. The person that killed JFK is writing these files. They're not going to say,
Right.
hey, by the way, we orchestrated this whole thing.
Right.
I will say within the first 5 pages of that document, you can tell all of it's bullshit. on like page 3, it goes through this entire repertoire of how great of a shot this guy was, and he was a trained operative, and he was a high-level Soviet spy, and they were keeping tabs on him, and they knew where he was on that day. And the very next page after the assassination, it talks about, oh, he was a renowned terrible shot. Can't have both. Can't have both of those things. So, number one, even when CIA files like alien stuff gets released, don't trust them. I don't trust any of this shit. What I am realizing, after we talked 2 or 3 weeks ago about the Hitler story, about how apparently a CIA file came out that someone reported Hitler was still alive in Venezuela in the 50s.
Right.
After that, I'm curious to get CIA intelligence files, or KGB intelligence files. Because we were told that the only record of Hitler's death is Soviet scientists who got dental records of Hitler's burned body, and then they came out like 10 years later like, no, we never actually verified that. So we're seeing the same thing with this alien story of like, this is just all a Soviet account.
Next episode, we need to invade the KGB.
Basically, what we're saying here is we're going to take down Russia.
Yeah.
We're going to be the ones to do it.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I feel like this sort of thing gives us a lot to talk about, but it feels like there is like we're waiting for some kind of big grand slam, and that they're just never going to give that to us.
Where are
like,
these stone soldiers?
Yeah, where are the stone soldiers? You putting them in KGB land, Area 51?
Not KGB land. That's my least favorite theme park. Right behind Disney, actually. It's my second least favorite. I'd probably go there before Disney.
KGB land before Disney?
Yeah.
No, but like...
Don't call me a communist in the chat.
Oh, God. Yeah, like, where are these stone soldiers? Maybe if we saw, like, a picture, but then...
And it said the 2 survived. So where were they?
They're the ones that wrote this report.
Okay, but like...
Yeah, where are they at now?
What happened to
Dead
them?
because of,
Were
KGB killed them.
Were they detained by the KGB and said, you can't talk about this?
I think I just like saying KGB.
I think
Sounds cool.
This has nothing to do with this. Neil Armstrong or Buzz Aldrin, one of the two, whichever one's still alive. He was recently offered like $3,000 just to admit that he never walked on the moon, or he'd give him $3,000 if he swore in a Bible they walked on the moon, and he wouldn't do it.
Oh.
I'm just saying, like that's a bunch of bullshit to me. Buzz Aldrin is given $3,000 in person if he swears in a Bible that they walked on the moon. He won't do it. Why not, man?
Clocked the fuck out of that one reporter.
He punched the one reporter just for asking.
And now that reporter was like a gotcha reporter, like a known gotcha reporter. But
regardless, just answer the question, Buzz.
He socked him.
Just answer the question, Buzz. I trust the Buzz as much as I trust these KGB reports.
It's just it. I mentioned it before we came on, but some of this reads like like they're trying to make it spooky.
That was going to be my next question: is how many, regardless of era or department, how many CIA reports do you think are just like, what if we told them this?
Yeah, right.
Like, we've been stationed in Moscow for 20 years, not doing dick fuck up here.
Shit's boring as hell. Let's make up a story. Yeah.
Government creepypastas.
Well, and I mean, like, it's one of those things where the government knows that there are people out there who are foaming at the mouth to see an alien or a UFO, and, like, that's their life.
Yeah.
And so shit like these files being released is like, oh my God, it's happening. Here we go. But in all reality, it's just another file that says, yeah, some shit happened in the past, and it might have been crazy, but...
Are there still UFO experts? Like, back in the early 2000s, that was a big thing of, like...
What are they called now? They're not UFO.
UAPs?
Yeah,
UAPs.
They're like, I'm a UFOologist, and I've been tracking aliens, and every year we go out to the field and do this report. That was a big thing in the early 2000s. That was like storm chasers for aliens.
I think...
Is that still a thing?
I think they were trying to make it a credible job.
You're right.
And then it kind of, as time went on, people were like,
Buddy, you're going to have to do something.
Yeah, you're going to have to do something. They walked into his office, and he was just, like, watching Ancient Aliens. Yeah. And they're like, all right, well, what are we paying you for? What's going on here?
Just got history textbooks open to the Mayans.
Yeah.
It's the same type of people that, like, go and hunt for Bigfoot.
I guess.
Yeah. They're
I mean, we hunted for the grass man.
We found
And we
it.
found
different.
him. And we found him
That's
within
different.
within 30 minutes.
Yeah, we found
the grass man. Just saying.
we had a full-length interview.
Yeah.
When have any of these Squatch hunters ever had a Sasquatch interview?
Exactly. Bring your alien on the podcast. Go
Right.
ahead, Joe Rogan.
Right.
Go ahead.
Right.
Yeah. What a fucking farce.
But yeah, Jules, to your point, I think it's like the people who go,
Oh, I guess we're going to break. 216-859-8699.
What's the difference between the shirt you're currently wearing and the one that I am? Well, both do their job of concealing us from the outside world and social boundaries. But one little black swoosh makes yours cost nearly double. That red rectangle may not change how warm you are, but it certainly changes the price tag. The truth is, nobody cares about the details. Get to the point with GenericClothes.com. Have a laugh at the big brand clothing company's expense with shirts that simply say sports team, political statement, music band, and more. A shirt for any occasion and the perfect gift. GenericClothes.com.
You know, I'm not really sure on which order Style prefers to put these ads in.
Hi, this is Melissa,
Hey, it's Matt.
coming at you from Synergy Music Studio.
We are a recording and production studio located on the south side near Chicago.
Check us out online at synergymusicstudio.com. We offer recording, mixing, and mastering.
And follow us on Instagram at Synergy Music Studio. Rock hard.
Have a real job that requires you to get up at a reasonable hour? Lo-fi wake up, 3 a.m. through 6 a.m. weekdays.
Welcome back to the Rebel Radio Show.
You Uba-tuba son of a bitch.
Tuba piece of shit. You're a stinky rope.
Clip that.
I'm just saying, we talked about JFK and all the other stuff, and of course, audio issues happened.
They're in the fucking trees.
Only to us. Only to us.
They're in the fucking trees.
Um,
Guerrilla warfare.
I couldn't hear, Shane couldn't hear the break song at all that we were going to break, but nothing was seemingly distorted going out over the air, which is a first.
Yeah.
They cut our brakes. They cut our brakes.
They cut our brakes, honestly, so we're all stuck here now. Welcome back to the Rebel
stop.
Radio Show. 216-859-8699. If you have opinions on the Terracotta Soldiers, you can still text in. Also, we're brought to you by GenericClothes.com. Tell those big brand clothing companies to suck it. Nobody cares about the details. Get to the point with GenericClothes.com. A shirt for every occasion and a great gift. Once again, GenericClothes.com is the place to go. However, I don't think there you will be able to purchase 5,000 ants. You can ask. You can send them a message and be like, hey, what are the odds?
Please send me 5,000 ants. I've done it before. They will do it.
I don't think they will. I don't think they will. I think that's the other site you've been going to.
You can buy an
You know
ant
what?
farm online.
Yeah, you can buy like bugs off Amazon
Live ones?
Yeah.
for feed.
You don't use Amazon.
All right, but I use bugs.
I know that, but you don't buy them on Amazon.
I pick them from,
Yeah,
from the
so why are
lawn.
you advertising for Jeffrey?
Listen, we'll talk about Jeffrey later.
All right, let's talk about these guys from Kenya.
Listen,
Is it Kenya? They smuggled
Let me-
5,000 ants.
let me say both of their names, because this is a doozy.
Yeah. There's Kenya.
Lornoy David, Lornoy David, Lornoy, Lornoy David, and Seppi Lodwichix. I'll let you take a guess on how that one is spelled.
Why?
It's two 19-year-old Belgian self-proclaimed bug enthusiasts, as Kenya sees them, wildlife pirates.
So they're from Belgium.
Belgium.
They're from Belgium.
Belgium?
Belgium. Yeah.
Like the waffle.
Yes, they're from Belgium. And they're in Kenya stealing ants?
This has to be, listen, this has to be some illegal shit. It's not like,
yeah.
it's
They're
just,
stealing ants.
I'm curious as to why they're buying. 'Cause
5,000 of them, to be exact.
it's a specific kind of ant, the coveted mesothelioma,
Mesothelioma, right?
cephalots, mesocephalots, or the giant African harvester ant.
There we go.
Clearly, they wanted something. Clearly, they were using these giant African harvesting ants to harvest something.
Right. Wood, probably.
But why?
To destroy ecosystems.
For drugs? No. I refuse.
So that's why they were arrested. I'm assuming arrested.
Yes.
Detained at the very least.
Yeah.
They got caught trying to smuggle 5,000 ants out of Kenya. And they were the eco-terrorists? Is that what they labeled them? Something along those lines?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had over 2,000 tubes with a couple of ants in each, and they were stuffed with cotton balls so that the ants would live for months in those tubes.
Do ants eat cotton?
I don't know, but it said that they would live for months in that article with the way that they were packaged.
But the reason that they were detained, other than theft, is because that is you can't introduce a new invasive species somewhere else. And I'm assuming the reason they were charged in Kenya was for stealing. And if they would have gotten to Belgium and gotten caught, they would have been charged for introducing an invasive species.
If they were caught.
Yeah, if they were caught in Belgium
were caught.
or wherever else they were going. Maybe this was an attack on another country. Maybe they just hated Luxembourg and were like, you know what? Let's go to fucking Kenya and get 5,000 ants and take them to Luxembourg and destroy their ecosystem.
Here's the thing.
These guys are bad dudes. These are villains.
I see the vision. I see the vision. I truly do.
Do you?
I don't understand where they're coming from at all. I don't because just reading from this article, it says that they were going for around 1 million Kenyan shillings, which is around $7,700.
Which also super low payoff for this crime.
That's not that much money to be trafficking.
To be labeled an eco-terrorist.
Yeah, because they're probably going to get, at least I would assume.
These are Disney Channel villains.
They're going to get prison time.
They're going to get deported, right?
Oh, no.
Out of Kenya?
Oh, no. Yeah, they're probably going to get, well, I would assume they get deported back to Belgium, and then Belgium deals with them. That's at least in my brain how the judicial system would go.
Are we having problems with the Facebook Live now? Or the YouTube Live now?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
No way.
It says that it's disconnecting and reconnecting, so if you could please check on our
I mean, yeah, it's frozen for me. That's insane.
Well,
they're killing us.
All right.
Killing us out here.
Let us let us know that we're still up and running. 216-859-8699.
Yeah.
We're on the radio. WSRradio.com.
Yeah, come find us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there's just something more going on here that they're not specifically saying. It even says in the article, as if it wasn't obvious enough, these kids were not just collecting ants as a hobby. On the same day,
it says for fun, and it's not for fun. This is for nefarious acts. We just don't know what.
So it goes on further. On the same day, in the same courtroom, 2 other guys were also charged with attempting to smuggle ants. It was 2 Kenyan dudes, and they were caught with 400 ants in Nairobi.
Oh, that's probably the people that sold these to the ants.
Oh,
the whole corporation came down.
I wonder. It's just one of those things where, it seems like there's not enough. The stakes aren't high enough, or the stakes are too low.
The reward is not worth the risk.
Right, the reward is not worth the risk. That's what I'm trying to say. I feel like these people, if they're willing to travel from Belgium to Kenya, they're not gonna just smuggle. And maybe they were planning on doing the scheme more, or they just got caught in the middle of it, sort of thing.
So we're looking at what I'm assuming is their mugshot. Not mugshot, but after the arrest photo.
Right.
They look exactly how you'd expect to look if you just got labeled an eco-terrorist for taking ants. They look mildly disappointed that they got caught.
Yeah, they look like 2 regular dudes. 2 regular white Caucasian.
2 regular Belgian dudes.
Yeah, they're just Belgianing up, I guess.
The fact that the reason they gave to Kenyan authorities as to why they were taking these ants was for fun. Great.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And I mean, that's all that if I'm an eco-terrorist, that's what I'm saying. I'm doing this for fun. I just like these ants. I just really love African harvesting ants.
Yeah, just for my collection.
They're my favorite.
I'm just collecting ants. You got a problem with that? Is that a crime to you?
I have 15,000 of them. I have 10 colonies at home.
I know 2 other guys that do the same thing.
They literally go back to their house in Belgium and they have like ant colonies all throughout
Imagine
their house.
if they are just really big ant enthusiasts.
I hope, for the sake of the good of man, I hope these 2 are just ant enthusiasts.
No.
These are just 2 uncles.
It's for fun. They love it.
It's one of those things where, like, I don't even know how to string a sentence together to Google. Like, what drugs can you make using African harvesting ants?
I don't think it's for drugs.
What is it for? What are they using them for?
Terrorism. This is why we keep getting taken down, because we're saying things like terrorism and JFK and CIA and
Shut
Soviet
your
Union.
Fucking mouth.
I have the freedom of speech and press, and I'm using both right now.
We
Tell that to the CIA.
don't have the full story here, and I have a problem with that. We don't
Yeah.
know what these people were doing.
I don't
with
know
these
why,
ants.
but I just keep thinking like how sometimes they use like roaches in jail to like transport cigarettes around.
What?
You guys don't know that?
No.
Yeah, they'll use
I've never served
cockroaches.
hard time.
Yeah, I've
Yet.
also
I've never served hard time.
I have, but
Oh.
it was different.
Well, you were in solitary, so like
Yeah,
you
that
couldn't
was,
really.
It was just me. I had the.
It was just you. It was
I had the. What do they call it?
straight jacket.
I had the jacket on.
Yeah, that's right. They couldn't
The
call it a
padded
straight
room.
jacket when you were in it.
Yeah, they called it my button up.
It's a shame. It's time for your special shirt.
All right.
They would use cockroaches.
You're sitting there counting ants.
In jail to like transport cigarettes, so like they could use
That's
ants.
Is that no? That's just a movie thing.
No,
I feel like that
gotta be
has
a movie
That's
thing.
actually happened.
How do you know?
Yeah, who?
I've
What
seen it
criminal?
on-
Jail.
I don't remember what criminal, but
If
I've
you're a
seen
criminal,
it.
216-859-8699.
Been to jail and put the cigarettes on the.
Yeah,
cockroach.
she's the collector.
The
Yeah.
cockroaches were my friends. Okay.
Oh, jeez. This is bad.
If you're either a cockroach enthusiast or a criminal, 216-859-8699. I need to know if this is factual.
Or if you're just a cockroach.
Yeah,
216-859-8699.
been a while since we heard from you guys. How you doing out there?
What do they sound like?
They click, right?
I have no idea.
They click. They fly. Sometimes.
You know, we went to a school together that had a lot of cockroaches, and I was very unfazed by them by the time we graduated, and I think
Yeah.
I've been away from them long enough now where I would probably be somewhat fazed by a cockroach.
Here's the thing. Here's a little personal story in this last minute we got in this segment about ants. We went to a school with a bunch because it was built on a landfill.
Mhm.
So there were cockroaches everywhere, daily, like all the time. And you'd walk down the hallway, you couldn't go like a week without seeing a few. And they were big. I'm not talking
Yeah.
like the little roaches that like you see in ovens and shit. I'm talking like
No,
they
they
were
big, full
50-cent pieces.
cockroaches. Yeah.
Yeah, like $half size cockroaches. Every
Mhm.
time. There was never any smaller.
Mhm.
And they'd just be dead in the hallway or scrolling
Yeah.
through the ceiling or something like that.
Yeah.
To the point where I had seen cockroaches at a restaurant once that I was cleaning, and they crawled out from under the cooler,
Mhm.
and they were little tiny ones. I'd never seen them that small.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is the size of a normal cockroach.
Yeah.
And that's insane to me
We had those juicer cockroaches.
that we had the big ones.
Yeah.
We had like the Japanese fighting cockroach.
Yeah.
216-859-8699 if you're smuggling bugs.
If LimeWire taught us anything, your digital music is free and open to piracy, and even manipulation when it comes to digital distribution. So why settle for a bunch of ones and zeros floating around on the internet? Make your release something special with Hellbender Vinyl. Hellbender is one of America's most trusted custom vinyl record pressing plants and works with local artists to get their next release pressed exactly to their liking. So check out Pittsburgh's first and only custom vinyl pressing plant today by visiting hellbendervinyl.com to get started. And don't forget, all customers at Hellbender Vinyl get 5 free test presses at no additional charge. Hellbent on quality, hellbent on service, hellbendervinyl.com. A
Attention, have you or your family members been affected by ESPN and their boring hot takes or their repetitive programming? If so, you are not entitled to compensation, but you may be entitled to join WSRR Radio at 10 a.m. on Mondays to hear new episodes of Cleveland's newest sports talk show, Behind Enemy Lines.
This is Preston Hardin, creator of True Vault Escapades, a show combining my love for the Fallout games and old-time radio of days gone by. If you're looking for a classic detective show set in the retro-futuristic post-apocalyptic wasteland, this is definitely for you. You can find us on any podcatcher like Apple or Spotify, and hear it exclusively here on WSRR Radio every weeknight at 10 p.m. Tune in today and prepare for the future.
The Rebel Radio Show is live at 5.
Stop saying Daryl the Wild Man Show as if it was like a show that was on it. Well, that's not a thing.
Every Monday on WSRR Radio.
Are you caught up on season 3?
Yeah, I was binging it the other weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How you feel about Daryl the Wild Man nowadays?
You know, not wild enough, in my opinion. I say dial the wildness up to 11.
Yeah, you know, when he started collecting gardener snakes,
yeah,
I'm like, this isn't very wild, Daryl.
He was the little mice era that he went through.
Yeah, he
Just
lost
had
a lot of
mice.
sponsorship.
Yeah.
So, you know, like if you need a good energy drink that's in
Started
Baja Lime or Voodoo flavor,
started eating worms.
I can't help you.
I don't like Ray's Energy, the energy drink. I don't like it. In fact, I don't think I ever have.
It was okay at best. It was how I feel about like most energy drinks that I try for the first time, and I'm like, yeah, all right, and then I never buy it again.
For context, we were at a different brand, and we were
The
sponsored
green brand,
by,
as we call it.
an energy drink company.
Yeah, I'd like to be sponsored by an energy drink company, not that one.
That'd be cool.
But I did buy a truck recently.
Red Bull's gonna hear this clip and be like, never.
Never. No. We've crossed so many bridges. Burned, I should say.
Yeah.
I did buy a truck recently that had, unbeknownst to me, truck was from out of state. Literally like saw it, bought it, didn't realize till after I bought it, it had the sticker on the back.
Mhm.
It had the website for Raise Energy. It's like
That's-
someone who was
yeah.
apparently an avid energy drinker of them
That's
had the
really
sticker on the back, and I'm like, this is
small world.
yeah, small world. Even smaller world. If you go up to Pittsburgh, PA, you can go to Hellbender Vinyl. Now, Hellbender Vinyl is one of America's most trusted custom vinyl record pressing plants. They work with local and independent artists to get their album released exactly how they like it in a variety of colors and styles on custom vinyl pressings. Once again, that's hellbendervinyl.com. And let me tell you this, if you watch the Super Bowl, you have seen them. They're the ones that made the vinyls for the Mountain Dew Seal commercial in the Baja Blast Blue and the classic Mountain Dew Lime Green.
They look sick.
You can also go to Hellbender Vinyl on Instagram and see all kinds of cool colored pressings they have there, or stop by the Rebel Studios if you're in town. 216-859-8699, that number to text in for today's show or any other show, or if you're just laying there listening to this on a replay, trying to get to sleep and you're convinced there's a monster under your bed,
there is.
Just turn us on.
I'm right here. There's a monster under your bed right now.
The boogeyman, and I'm coming to get you.
Yeah.
I was never afraid of the boogeyman because that was my concept of the boogeyman was the wrestler.
I ate worms.
Well, you do collect bugs, so there is that much.
And I eat worms.
Yeah, we got worms. Tell me about first of all, the police are involved, apparently. Authorities say a babysitter checked under the bed for monsters and found one.
Oh, no.
So basically, there was, I'm not sure where Barton County is, but it's not telling me. Grand Bend, Kansas. Okay.
Kansas.
So in Grand Bend, Kansas, a babysitter was getting the two children that they babysat. The babysitter is unnamed and ungendered, so we don't know. I'm assuming a female.
Whoa,
right?
Why would you assume that?
I don't know.
It's 2025,
Yeah, what
right?
the
We
fuck?
don't assume
Okay, my
around
bad.
here.
Unnamed, ungendered babysitter.
What'd she do?
Maybe they were a Lego.
Lego babysitter was getting Lego children ready for bed.
No, listen, we're adding too much to the context to this now. What did this babysitter do?
Okay, so she was getting the babysitties
Mm.
down for sleep napped.
Yep. Okay.
And one of the children was concerned about a monster under the bed. So, in her efforts to try and get the kid to go to bed and say that there's nothing under there, she went and checked under the bed, and she came face to face with a man under the bed.
What's he doing down there?
Just like laying there.
Nothing good.
Yeah, nothing. Probably nothing helpful. I would say probably not cosplaying as the monster.
Odds that the parents forgot to tell the babysitter about this guy who
By
sleeps
the
under
way,
the bed.
Chuck's gonna be sleeping under your bed for the next couple of weeks.
Just trying to look at all the
Yeah.
scenarios we could have out there, you know.
Try not to smell him.
Couldn't afford a nanny cam. They got Chuck.
Oh God.
Odds? I don't know.
Odds very low.
But there are odds.
Oh, my bad.
What's up, WSRR?
Oh hell yeah.
All right.
That was just a little shout out to us. We were just doing a little mid segment shout out for those who are unaware. We do that.
Actually wasn't a live show you're listening to. It's just a promo. It was a very long 45-minute promo you've been listening to, and that was the tag out.
Jokes on you guys.
Oh, my goodness. My bad, guys.
So what do you do in this situation? You're a babysitter, as you are. And
what do I do in this situation?
Yeah, you're the babysitter, not the guy under the bed. You're the babysitter, and you're putting the kids to sleep. And little Timmy's like, "There's a monster under my bed, Holmes." That's how little Timmy talks. And you're like, "Timmy, there's no monster." And Timmy's like, "Holmes, there's a monster under my bed." So you get down on your knees, and there's this man, Chuck.
I am going to shriek and flip the bed
with the kid on it. You're putting the kid in more danger.
Safest measure, because I am so strong.
Falsest statement.
I'm so strong that I flip the bed so that the kid is under it, and that it's corner, the bed frame is on the corner of the wall and the floor of the room.
You're gonna pinch the kid between the bed and the wall,
so that the man cannot hurt the child. And then I'm going to go crazy mode. And trust me, when I go crazy mode, things get a little wild.
I just don't think.
Start.
Wait. You don't think I'm going to go crazy mode?
No, I don't think you're going to get at the instant you see a man under this child's bed, you're going to go, "Oh, it's time. All my years of training
no.
and flip this bed completely vertical."
The critical first thing.
Of course.
Shriek
first
at the top of my lungs.
Yeah.
To alert the child, you were correct. There is a monster under this bed. And now, as the sitter of you, I am going to flip the bed. Time.
I think that's poor execution.
All of my training has led me to this moment, and I'm going to flip this bed, and I'm going to go crazy mode.
I think coincidentally enough, you had a better solution in your breakdown. I think the kid says, "Hey, there's a monster in my bed," and you go to check, and the second that you are now laying on the floor face to face with this man under the bed, you simply say, "You are correct."
Yeah. Well,
in a monotone voice,
I come back up. There is a monster.
There is indeed.
Good night.
Leave the room.
Close the door.
Good luck with that.
Well, it turns
I don't get
out,
paid enough for this.
Turns out this man was a 27-year-old who once lived at the residence.
What the hell?
There's been...
Did they forget to kick him out?
There's
still had a key.
There's no connection or anything. There's nothing
Trust
saying
me.
that...
he thinks that there's a connection.
Yeah, there's a connection.
Well, I mean, the connection was a wrong word. My bad.
No.
But there's nothing saying he was charged or anything. But there is
what?
There's a statement that says he is under a protection from abuse order that required him to stay away from the property. So I'm concerned why he was under the child's bed.
Well, so
something had happened previously
Yes.
where he is not allowed to be at this property.
It says here, and I'm just reading a little blurb from the article. It says, the statement says the suspect fled the scene before deputies arrived on Monday night, but was spotted in the area, and after a, quote, short foot pursuit, was taken into custody the next morning.
Okay.
So
he fled.
Oh, good. Okay.
And they caught him.
Right. Still, freaky motherfucking deaky for sure.
Here's my big kick, because I didn't know that. And in the moment, you wouldn't know that. You wouldn't go into the bed and be like, "Oh, this is the guy that used to live here." You don't know that context.
Yeah, 'cause you're the babysitter.
Bill,
It's Chuck.
wait till you see the new addition that I put on.
Yeah, in
Tore
the
down the
moment-
wallpaper, put some fresh paint up. You're gonna love it.
In the moment, you're the babysitter, and this is
yeah.
just some man.
Yeah,
in the moment,
right.
I am the babysitter.
Okay, well, even if I live in that house and I check under the bed and the former owner is under my child's bed,
Well, I don't
we
think
got
it's-
an issue.
I don't-
How did he get in?
Full stop, we got a problem.
I don't think it was a former owner. I think it was somebody
You think
related.
they like rent?
No, I think it was somebody related to this family, and that's what the
Oh, I don't think
protection
so.
order is.
I don't think so at all.
Wait, guys, gotta get to the bottom of this. Who the fuck was this creepy dude?
What would the thing say? Former resident of the house?
It
Is that what it
says
said?
it says
Yeah.
a 27-year-old man who quote once lived at the residence.
Yeah, once lived.
See,
The
if
statement
they
says.
said that, I don't think he's related at all to these people.
It goes on to say the statement says, but who was under quote protection from abuse order that required him to stay away from the property. So yeah, I think that it probably is a situation where if I had to guess, and this is probably actually really sad, probably
Yeah.
the dad
That's what I'm thinking.
and the mom, and so they have a.
I don't think it's the dad. I think maybe like a boyfriend or someone. Because
Well,
I think
the-
if it's anyone physically related, like blood related to them,
Uh-huh.
they would note that. It wouldn't just be a man.
Maybe you might be right.
That's fair.
Like the boyfriend.
Yeah,
of the,
former
of the-
something or
Sure.
ex-husband or
Sure.
So maybe it's like either a boyfriend of the mom or a sister that lives there or something like that. Someone that knew the family and
Yeah.
lived with them for a period
Did something horrible to them before,
and is now not allowed on the property.
Yes.
But he's back.
and he's back, and the
How did he get in?
babysitter found him.
How? When and how? That's what I want to know. When and how?
Probably. Like
How
you
long?
Said, he probably had a key.
How long has he been there?
Yeah, how long has he been there?
Was he there?
time.
I mean, obviously he was probably there the whole time the babysitter was there, just hanging out, doing something, right?
Really quick side note: the picture in this article looks like a very nice house.
That's not the house.
It's a very
it
square
It
house.
could be. It looks like the general from the General Automotive Insurance lives there.
Gunther? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
In the moment, if I'm getting down, checking on the bed, and there's a strange man there, because again, you're the babysitter. Even if this is someone the family knows, you don't know him, more
Yeah,
than likely.
Exactly.
Right.
Strange man under the bed. How do you proceed? Because, like you said, no matter what you do next, I would be assuming the guy under the bed is going to do something violent to me. That is my
Yeah.
next assumption of like, oh, he knows I'm here.
He knows I know he
Yeah, no matter what the next step is, there's going to be confrontation between me and him.
Genuinely, I think what my IRL reaction would be if I am this babysitter.
Yeah.
Check for monsters. There's a monster under the bed. I peek my head under, and there's genuinely a creepy dude. Instant reaction. Oh fuck! I'm gonna come back up. I'm gonna nothing. Say nothing. No face. Grab the baby. Run out of the fucking room. I'm digital dashing. I'm gone.
Do you think you'd have the poker face in the moment to not look terrified when you find the man under the bed?
I don't think it matters. I think you literally have. I think after you, a conscious adult, see that man under the bed, you have mere seconds to before anything wild happens.
Yeah.
Because now there's a mutual understanding of you know that I'm in the room and I know that
you're in the room.
Right. I have top 3 seconds to grab the kid and just dart out of the room as fast as I can.
It's so hard because you have to grab both kids.
Well, see, I've been thinking
Then you
about
grab
this.
both kids.
I've been thinking about this because I didn't have an answer as to how I would react. I think I stay on the ground looking at this dude and say, run. You just tell the kids to leave the room. I don't think I come up. I don't grab the kids. I don't say anything to them. I just say, hey, leave the room.
Mm-hmm.
Go in the living room. Go do something. Go watch TV. Get them out of the room. And then I deal with the man. Then I turn into Shane and I flip the bed. Yeah. Then I beat the shit out of this guy.
That's a good one, actually.
Yeah, I don't think I have. And again, it's hard to think about in the moment. This is hindsight, of course.
Right.
But I think the best course of action is not wasting that time of
Keep your eyes on the
right
man.
of not giving him a chance to have the upper hand at any point.
Right.
That's really good. I didn't even think about that.
I think that's my solution.
I think that's a good solution. I want to know.
So you know how
because
when
again, it comes down to like you said, it comes down to circumstance, and this is hindsight.
Yeah.
But 25-year-old man versus 16-year-old girl, I think, our brain is going to react that way. girl, 16-year-old girl brain babysitting kids.
Yes, but adrenaline.
Eh,
I still but I think it's plausible.
I
She
think
may
it's
get
hard
down,
to.
check the thing, see the guy face to face, and just scream.
Right.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, the kids are screaming, and
Right. It could go into complete chaos. And like,
Yeah.
it's just, and it doesn't even, the article doesn't even say, like how the situation necessarily transpired. When the victim attempted to show the child there was nothing under the bed, she came face to face with a male suspect who was hiding there at the sheriff's office. An altercation ensued with the babysitter, and one child was knocked over in the struggle.
Oh.
The 27-year-old suspect, who, quote, once lived in the residence, was under protection from abuse order.
So
which
there
we already
was
talked about.
was a struggle.
It's the altercation. An altercation ensued with the babysitter, and one child was knocked over in the struggle. So yeah, it seems like she
So
probably
she flipped the bed.
Yeah, she probably flipped the
Yeah,
fucking
she
bed.
probably flipped the bed.
Knocked
No.
over the child.
I would bet that she did. I bet that there was some kind of altercation or some kind
Yeah,
of
she
screaming,
definitely
grabbing the
was-
kids, running, kicking the bed or something.
Yeah.
Throwing
kicking-
hands.
Right, throwing hands, whatever. There was some kind of altercation, which is exactly what we
Expected.
said would happen. There, something's gonna happen.
I think my next course of action, if I get the kids to run out of the room, I think my next course of action is making sure this guy doesn't get out from under the bed. I'm treating this like I saw the spider go under the table, so I'm keeping my eyes on the table until that spider's out of there. I'm keeping my eyes on this bed, and I'm making sure he does not come out from under the bed. He's staying there till the cops get there.
There has to be something.
He's gonna start crawling. I'm gonna put on my heels and just boot him in the head,
I'm reaching under and I'm kissing him.
jabbing him, giving him a
Yeah.
smooch.
You ain't
You
going
stay right
nowhere,
there.
cowboy.
I would think there would be like, you know how they have
Grabbing the Travis Hafner signed bat from the corner.
No.
Bronk.
I'm assuming they're like girl children because I was a girl child, so this is just my brain. They have like the horse head on the stick that they ride around. I'm taking that stick and I'm stabbing the guy.
There's gotta be something in the
poking
room,
him.
right?
Yeah, toys.
Toys, and throwing them at his head.
It doesn't
and
give
stuff.
us enough context. Come on, Barton County Sheriff's Office.
To be
we
fair,
need more
if I'm the
context.
Bargain County Sheriff's Office, I'm not like, well, there was also a bat in the room, and there was a toy
Yeah,
unicorn
yeah.
they could have used.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm worried about the guy who's under the bed.
Yeah, the unnamed babysitter told authorities she was getting the kids ready for bed when one complained there was a monster under the bed. Her efforts to reassure them didn't go as quite as planned. When the victim attempted to show the child there was nothing under the bed, she came face to face with a male suspect who was hiding there.
He must have been under there long before they even got into the room.
That's what I'm saying. He was probably there all day
And
in that room.
They heard like a sound, or he
I don't know about
like
all day.
coughed, or like
This was probably like, oh, your mom's not home. I'm going to come steal your shit. And there's just a babysitter at home. I'm going to come steal your shit, or I'm going to come take the kids, or whatever the situation. You know, like, obviously there's a lot more context that we need here that we don't have, but I would assume that he was sneaking in and first stop was here, and then the kids just happened to come into the room.
You know what I got a problem with? Hiding under the bed. In any circumstance. The bed is such a terrible place to hide under.
it's hard to get out from under.
Hide and seek, terrible spot. Someone breaks in your house, terrible spot. You're breaking into someone else's house, terrible spot. There's so many
disagree.
better places to hide. Because that's always one of the first places. It's like
Listen,
closet
man.
under the bed.
How long have we been doing this show?
Shower. While.
Yeah,
Too long.
I've been hiding under your bed for a long
Shane, I know.
time, pal.
I know you're there. It's not a secret.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
I like it.
Which bed am I under though?
The second one.
You don't
the
know.
one that's in the side of the room that I don't sleep on.
Bunk.
Yeah.
He's just on the bottom bunk.
Shane, we have bunk beds. I know. It's like the fucking meme of Mom, there's a monster under the bed. It's in the bunk bed.
Yeah.
Why do you hate me, brother? You ever say there was a monster under your bed? Because that was never a thing that I said as a kid.
I was afraid of the closet.
No.
In general?
Yeah.
No.
Hmm.
I was playing
The gays get you, huh?
Yeah.
You guys, see, I was playing 5D chess with my parents.
With your fears?
Yeah. I was saying
Your sleep paralysis demon.
no. I wasn't saying like, oh, there's a monster under the bed. Check. I was saying I'm hungry. I need to come downstairs and eat. I can't go to bed yet. I have to settle this rowdy appetite of mine.
That's what he said as a 5-year-old.
I did, probably. And I have to eat right now.
Yes, I think I'm malnourished.
I'm quite hungry.
But I
Shane's
also,
sitting there with his hands
Yeah.
folded. Mother,
I'm quite hungry right now.
I don't think I ever had a bed that was like that.
I was afraid of the Hulk.
Like my beds were either like on the ground or like there wasn't room under them.
Why are you laughing?
for
That's a true
monster.
story. I was afraid of the Hulk.
In your bedroom?
Yeah.
Me
Yeah.
too.
No, I had this. Listen, I had these plush toys. They're probably like, I don't know, 6-inch plushes. And one was Spider-Man and one was the Hulk.
Mhm.
But like these were like out of the claw machine cheap toys.
Mhm.
And the printed on face for the Hulk was terrifying.
Deep fried.
Yeah, it was a deep fried Hulk plush. And like it was just big ripped outstretched arms Hulk. And I didn't like the way that my nightlight would like shine on him in the dark. So I'd call my mom to take the Hulk out of my room. I was afraid of the Hulk.
He's a scary fellow.
I like people under my bed.
He's a scary fellow.
With the Hulk? Mm-mm.
Yeah, I never had a fear of anything under my bed. I was never like, there's something, because, I think...
Because they're more afraid of me than I am of them.
Right. A lot of the times I didn't have a bed frame, but sometimes I did, and even then I don't think I ever thought about it. I would have, like, scary dreams, though. I remember I was afraid.
I thought you don't dream.
When I was a kid,
Oh, yeah, right.
I used to dream like a moth.
You
I
grew
used
out
to-
of it.
I used to dream sometimes. I would have very weird dreams, and I couldn't understand them because I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I had a dream that Dracula was threatening me, and so I offered my servitude, and I would clip his toenails. I said, "Dracula, please."
You're
I'll
like,
clip
Dracula, hit me with that flow.
I'll clip your toenails, please. Don't turn me into a vampire.
Yeah.
In my dream, because
Here-
I thought Dracula was attacking me.
Let me tell you something. I'm more afraid of people under my bed now than I was as a child.
I'm afraid of people in the crawl spaces.
That's what I'm saying. We've done a lot of stories about people,
yeah.
and here's another one of people just being in someone's house
Mm-hmm.
just because they want, not even for nefarious purposes a lot of the time. They just are there or are living there. That's what I'm afraid of now.
Yeah, I think I'm the most afraid of squatters.
I'm more likely to check under my bed now than ever in my life.
Yeah.
216-859-8699. What's under your bed?
Who's under your bed?
Me. I want to know what you think. 216-859-8699. That number to text in. Once again, that's 216-859-8699. The little hotline works for all of our shows. You can also get all of our socials at WSRRradio.com as the homepage for showtimes, schedules, and more. I want to thank again our awesome sponsors that help keep us on the air and keep local music on the radio. That's Synergy Music Studio out of Chicago, GenericClothes.com, and Hellbender Vinyl out of Pittsburgh, PA. Once again, WSRRradio.com is the homepage. You can get to all of those, all of our shows as well, like Shaney's off air. We have the Pigeonhole with the Pidge. We have the Rebel Radio Show, of course, live at 5. We have Behind Enemy Lines every weekday morning at 10 a.m. with new episodes on Mondays, and True Vault Escapades at 10 p.m. That's the Fallout-based radio drama from Preston Hardin. They do awesome work, so make sure you check that out during the weekdays as well. We also run Synergy 6-packs now on the weekends at 6 p.m. That's your all-music weekend. All music, all weekend long, all live, all local. And if you want to talk about Monday Night Raw tonight or any wrestling or any other category we talk about, you can visit the Discord server, WSRRradio.com. Again, gets you there. Until next time, I'm Radio's Rebel DJ Styles. To my right, Shaney.
Bye, everyone.
On the board is Jules.
Yeet.
Peace.
Pray